Wyoming's best adventure starts in Wind River Country, located in western Wyoming, just beyond Yellowstone National Park and the Grand Teton Mountains. Wind River Country is the place to go to get away from the crowds, unplug, unwind, and find room to roam. Wyoming's Wind River Country, Yellowstone's unique neighbor.
We're back with another episode of Wyoming's Wind River Country. We are Yellowstone's unique neighbor, and we are in a pretty unique place. Helen Wilson with the Wind River Visitors Council is joining us.
There's lots of horses around us. We're at the Wind River Wild Horse Sanctuary, and we're going to learn all about what they do here, learn about the horses, and I'm excited. It's a beautiful morning, a little chilly. Blue skies, though. We got snow in the mountains surrounding us and horses everywhere.
And we have a well-known lady in the area, Odessa, whether it's dealing with wild horses or jewelry. Everybody in town, Odessa, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good this morning. Excited to actually start my morning with the wild horses.
Yeah, I know. We talked about we're out here early this morning. We got a little dew out. The horses are excited. They're all up close. You mentioned too this morning, right?
Yes, super excited to have them this close, especially with you guys coming out. It's our off-tour season, so we haven't been doing a whole lot of tours. They've just been hit and miss here and there. So they're used to us coming out and feeding them as well.
They look like they're pretty friendly.
Yes, no, they are. Well, that's the beautiful thing about this, though, is some of these guys we've had since 2016.
Wow.
So they've gotten really acclimated to us coming out here in the side-by-side specifically. We do our best to make sure that we are always calm. We don't move them in the side-by-side. We usually move them horseback. So it's a different kind of atmosphere and energy that they feel with us.
How many herds do we have at the Wild Horse Sanctuary?
We have 3 herds here at the Wild Horse Sanctuary.
And what herd are we looking at right now?
This herd, we haven't exactly named them all, or we haven't named the herds, but this is one of our main herds here, right next to the Highway 287. I personally enjoy this herd because some of our original wild horses are actually in here. We have one of our really big ones that we call Tiny, but he's in the back over there. And he's huge. He's a little over 17 hands, which isn't normal. Most of these guys are anywhere from 12 to 15 hands. And so when you get him out there, he definitely looks like a giant. And then Old Man is also actually in this herd. And he's the grandpa of the herd, and he's been here the longest as well.
How did it start in 2016?
It actually started in 2015. We didn't open to the public until 2016. And it all started with my dad. As most of Dwayne is an old-fashioned cowboy, and he's always lived by, if you're going to complain about something, then you better be part of the solution.
Yep.
And at that time, back then, the wild horse issue has always been pretty high, but Dad wanted to find a way that we could be part of the solution, and that is what we're doing. We educate people on the importance of the horse, but also the importance of managing them and trying to make sure that it's done in a good, safe manner as well.
That's why the sanctuary is so important, and it's also really neat to have this in Fremont County and Wind River Country. I think a lot of people forget how much history we have with the horse here.
Yeah, we have a lot of history, especially on the Wind River Reservation. People forget that the Arapaho and Shoshones used horses, and to be fair, a lot of indigenous tribes did, and there's even been studies that have shown that if many tribes didn't have the horse, they would have had a lot harder time actually surviving and being resilient in that matter.
Can folks get tours if they come into town? Maybe they are heading to Yellowstone.
So like I said, this is our off season. We don't really hit off our open everyday tours until after that first weekend in June. We have our big annual free event to the locals or anyone that day. It's our free event day that first weekend of June. And then we'll be open to more walk-ins. Right now we do more call-ins and reservation only because we're in the mix of ranching season as well and calving.
Right.
And moving cows and making sure that part of the ranch is taken care of. But if you are in the area and you give us a couple days advance notice, we try to accommodate you as much as we can.
And Odessa, you have different ways that you do tours, because I've also been on a wagon.
Yep, that's our free event day. So every year, that first weekend of June, it's crazy in Fremont County because most of the time you have the Brew Fest going on, you have the Spring Fair, and then we have our annual event too. And we try to make that wagon driven, which is really fun because 1, it's free, 2, we only do that once a year. So it's a great opportunity to come out and actually experience that. And the horses act different with the wagon because you have a team of horses, you have really excited tourists. And so it's just really fun to see them get more interactive. They don't always get this close like they are right here. You can literally reach out and touch his nose. Yeah, but it's still cool because you can see them running. You can hear the thunder like from their hooves and that kind of stuff. So it's definitely a different experience for sure.
Do you get the babies out here, the ponies?
No. So these are all castrated males.
Oh, okay.
On the sanctuary, we have 250 geldings. That's one of the management strategies on ensuring that there's no in-captivity breeding. With that, though, we do also offer the adoption program, and every once in a while we will get young 2-year-olds, even sometimes younger. Those fluctuate anywhere from those yearling ages up to about 6. And things happen when those adoptions and those horses are captured. There have been a couple instances where they were pregnant, and so they get a 2-for-1 deal.
Nice.
But it's hard to tell because sometimes they're in the early stages. But as far as out here on the actual sanctuary, no, we don't have any babies. I know some of them look fat, that they might be pregnant, but they're not.
You're just
but we
feeding
love,
them all.
yes, we love that they're that big.
Yeah. Have you had folks that have visited that have just never even seen a horse before?
Yes, and those are actually my favorite.
Yeah.
Especially when they get close like this. I actually have some videos of a young lady. I can't remember where she was from, but she literally was sitting where you were, and the horse came in and put his head there, and she literally was on my lap and just couldn't calm down and relax or believe that they were this
Big, yeah. Majestic.
Yeah, so it was super exciting to see that, especially kids. Kids are still in that dream. And we have a horse out here. Actually, I think he's in the other herd, who looks like Spirit from the cartoon. So a lot of kids get really excited to see him sometimes.
Do you have some cool videos and footage, like you said, of them all going at once? Because that sound, there's nothing like that sound. That thunder.
It's amazing. And Jess actually has some really great videos too. He's worked with some videographers, and I'm pretty sure Jess has put it on our website. And then there's we have a YouTube page as well that has some of that stuff.
So do you know all the horses?
Pretty close.
Yeah.
We have some new ones, new batches in here that I haven't been in here as frequently. The sad part is I'm going to blame my dad, but he made me get an actual career job. And I'm not out here every day like I used to be in the beginning of this. I was out here every day 2015 till about 2017, 2018. And then I went back to college, and then Jess transitioned in 2020 to being here full time. And then I did my adult job. But my partner and I and our daughter, we try to come out as much as we can, especially if Katie isn't here and now that Jess is in Arizona. But I try to know them all. We're not supposed to name them, but I definitely do.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
So this is really not only a family operation, but it's a labor of love for you as a hobby passion, because I mentioned earlier you're also a phenomenally talented jewelry maker.
Thank you.
You also have another full-time adult job, like you said.
Yes, working for the food bank.
Yeah, you're also here at the Wind River Wild Horse Sanctuary. Things like this don't run without people like you and without the crew that you guys have and your dad as well. So appreciate that, because it's a labor of love.
It is. All of us in the family. My mom, she really helps and ties in with the cultural stuff. You guys saw we have those educational panels, and we've also had educational events with the elementary schools focused around the cultural and the history importance of the horse. Jess has done a lot, so has Jared. My sisters come up when we've had major events. It's definitely a family operation, and then we adopt people like Katie, who works for us, and we've been blessed that she's really dove into the adoption side of it and making sure that those get adopted out.
Helen, do you get questions from visitors about things that they can do on the way to maybe Grand Teton or Yellowstone?
Absolutely. And what's one of the really nice things about the Wind River Wild Horse Sanctuary is they have an organized tour program where people can come out, go on a tour, learn about the horses, learn about adoption, learn about all of the efforts to keep these horses here, and they're just so happy. And every time I come here, I'm just so impressed with how happy these horses are. They just come over there. There's one right in front of us right now who you could literally touch. And one is walking past me, and they're just happy horses, and they're living out their lives here, right? They all came from different places, is that?
Yes, they all came from different places. Some of them are from Wyoming, Nevada. We've got a couple out from California. And we keep record of all of that, of where they came from.
And for the tours, can any age come?
Yes, we have any age. I mean, we've had infants and babies out here, and then of course we've had some elder care, and a senior center group came out as well. We try to work and accommodate with anyone as much as we can and getting people out here.
What about school groups?
Yep. We've had 4th graders out here, kindergarten through 3rd grade with St. Stephen's. Lander always brings out their 4th graders for Wyoming history, enlightenment. And we've had some college students come out as well. Job Corps has been out here. So we try to work with that as much as we can, especially when it comes to the cultural significance of horses in Wyoming.
Yeah. Do they ever get ridden?
These guys, no, not now. But some of them did go through the adoption program, and the BLM has this 3-strike rule. Whether it was a tip training or adoption, if they don't get adopted on the 3rd time, then they go to a long-term pasture or sanctuary like ours. So some of them have had work with them, but some of them are straight off of captivity as well.
Yeah. They're not going to want to saddle.
Yeah, no.
How many horses do you have out here?
We have 250 wild horses.
Wow.
Just on the sanctuary, not counting our adoption horses. Our adoptions, they fluctuate anywhere from, right now we have 4 available, but we should be getting another batch here pretty soon.
Imagine some family comes driving through heading to Yellowstone or Grand Teton, and all of a sudden they come here and they've adopted a horse.
Yeah, we've had that. Especially little girls have this dream of having a wild horse, and we just sweet talk Dad a little bit and tell him how great it is, and we'll even transport that wild horse for you. So we've done that a couple times, and we've coordinated and transported that horse, whether it was to Texas or Virginia. We've had quite a few out-of-staters. Also work with local adopters. So yeah, anything to get these guys to get home.
It's service right there.
Yep, customer service.
Yeah.
At its finest.
Yeah. So how long does a typical tour usually last for folks that come out?
They last anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. It honestly really depends on the day. We try to do a minimum of 30 and a maximum of 45. Especially in our summer tour season, we are usually rotating, and we actually even sometimes have 2 side-by-sides going at a time.
Okay.
Just because we've gotten so much bigger the last couple of years. And that's why we do try to tell people, if you book a reservation, you're more guaranteed a spot. We do welcome walk-ins, but you might have to wait a minute or two.
Well, you can't beat this. We have the backdrop of the Wind River Mountains. We're on the Wind River Indian Reservation. We've got wild horses, which have been on this landscape for many years. I feel like when we talk about Wind River country, this just embodies it.
Yes.
You know, the culture,
Yep.
the Wind River Mountains, we're on the reservation.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it does. And it's one of my favorite parts too, because we get people from all walks of life. So it's really great to see them and experience something like this that they've never done before. It's how everyone says everything these days are about the experiences you can have. It's really a great opportunity to be a part of that.
And to have all the horses just hanging out. They're so calm for being wild.
They are. They're not always like this though.
What?
So
Is it just because they haven't seen anybody?
Yeah, and it's a beautiful morning. There's, I shouldn't say the W word, but there's no wind and it's beautiful. But in the summer, especially when we get more interactive, sometimes they actually get annoyed. And when you come in, they'll go to the opposite side because they're like, oh, there's more people here.
It's amazing to think how they survived for so long out there.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Finding food. Luckily, they don't have any main predators, right?
No, they don't. But it is lucky, but it also does make it harder on the ecosystem.
Yeah, the management side for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a great part of the education piece, is that why I love the sanctuary is because it does help minimize a little bit of that impact of the wild landscape itself. And also giving them a great home, a food resource, a chance to get adopted. I know we talked about they might get annoyed from time to time when they see people, but I imagine over time they like seeing those kids.
Oh yeah, there's some in here that actually they forget personal space and we actually have to move them. Because they'll come in and they'll want you to scratch underneath their chin, or they'll want you to scratch their ears. But horses are very herd mentality. You'll see a lot more social grooming than some of our domestic horses. The cool thing about wild horses is they are natural. They're being a horse and enjoying their lives. And
those two.
Yep. Yeah.
A little bit of groom, pulling on the hair a little bit, helping out, maybe like brushing the hair for the other horse.
Yeah, they'll stand head to butt and you'll literally see them just chewing on each other's neck, and they're like, oh my gosh, they're biting them. No, that's how they scratch each other.
The one back here is rubbing his head on the
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
A couple of
vehicle here.
They use the side by side to scratch sometimes.
Aww. Hi.
The colors are really profound in some of them, like the browns and the black mixes. And
yeah, the paints are obviously my favorite. I've always been drawn to paints and to buckskins. We do have a lot of grays and whites in here, as you can see as well. That's, I think, for me, one of the unique things is seeing what you get, because there's no influence from a human being like, oh, I want that genetic, or I want this. Right. It's purely natural on how they breed. So you never know what kind of color you're going to get.
Yeah.
So when we get new batches, that's like the first thing I always, especially if I'm not there, I'm like, what did we get? What colors did we get?
Are there any changes coming up or goals you have in mind for the sanctuary?
No, the biggest thing right now is we're working really hard to continue getting our interns. We partner with the University of Wyoming and a couple other junior colleges like CWC. Our goal, actually, and that's how we got Katie, our goal is to get more youth involved, educate the population, and just try to be a positive advocate for these guys. I think that's one of the things that helps me, and I think don't want to speak for Jess, but I think one of the things he enjoyed was education too, because sadly today, most of our youth are anywhere from 3 to 4 generations removed from the land. So being able to provide an actual space for them to come, experience it, get an education, try to get them to come and do an internship, and then maybe even be a part of the solution, I think is a long-term goal.
I think that's great. We have to have the kids active. We have to have them involved and have to get back to our roots here, which this is literally where we're at.
Yeah. We all have big dreams. Each of us kids are involved in, I say kids, but we're older adults, but my parents.
Your kids, totally your parents.
But we each enjoy certain parts of the ranch, and we all definitely participate in this and want to see it grow in different ways. Part of that, though, is partnering with the BLM and figuring out what the administration is going to do.
Sure.
So we try to just keep up with that as well.
How about funding? Can people, if they desire to donate?
Yes.
Yes.
We would certainly love and enjoy that. Everything right now that we get into tours or donations goes back into the care, the maintenance, our ranch hands to ensure the care and safety of the wild horses. We have had some awesome people do some donations. We haven't done this in a while. It's something that we're looking back into. But before COVID, we had a little bit of sponsorship where someone got to sponsor a horse. That is something that we're hoping to bring back into play this next summer. And to be honest, anything that you can do helps. We have a young lady that's going to be here in a couple weeks to volunteer her time. However, you do have to bring a resume, and we have to make sure that there's some precautions there, but we do enjoy it. We've had some young FFA members come out and volunteer during our event days. It doesn't always have to be monetary. Sure. Helping hands help as well.
Yeah, definitely volunteer. And again, we talk about being active. Love to see the young kids volunteer. Yeah, that's part of how we instill being active and being able to bring back some of this culture.
Yeah.
So if anybody's listening who has an estate, make sure you think about leaving it to Wind River Wild Horse Sanctuary. We do have a lot of folks that listen to the podcast. They love horses, or they might have a desire to donate or volunteer. So please reach out, because again, things like this just aren't possible without the help of partners and folks like you. Love to see you help out the Wild Horse Sanctuary here. WindRiverWildHorses.com is the website, so make sure you check that out. You can find out more about tours. You can reach out. You can make a reservation there too, Odessa.
Yes, okay. Yes, you can.
Helen, did we miss anything?
I don't think so. I'm just enjoying the day, and I'm laughing because the side-by-side is moving because the horses are scratching on the back of it.
And it's so nice that we're in here trying to be as calm as we can and just not interrupting their natural progression. We're here, but we're quiet. We're not petting them. We're not trying to spook them. I think that's important for people who come and go on the tours too, to just camo into the landscape a little bit. The day is beautiful. The morning's great. You get paid to start your day like this?
Oh, no, I don't get that. Yeah, it's a family volunteer.
Wait a minute.
Dad calls it voluntold opportunities of being part of the family.
That's a benefit, is that you get to start your day
with
the horses, and beautiful days like this remind you of why we live here.
Yep. No, it definitely does.
All right, Odessa, anything else we need to mention for the folks that might be visiting? For the locals, too. I'm sure, Odessa, you get the school groups, but we could use some more locals coming out here.
Oh, yeah, we definitely can. We see our highest locals in the summer. When you bring your family and friends, we certainly love that and enjoy it. We promote our free day to our locals because it gives us an opportunity to just get you back out here. I know that a lot of my friends have been out here, and they've brought their family, and they've always bring some of their friends that are visiting. But certainly, yes, bring your grandkids, bring your friends, tell your friends from out of state to come see us. All of that fun stuff. Share our posts on Facebook.
Any cool horse vids.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
The Wind River Visitors Council, too. We got some great video out here, too. They'll have some of that featured as well. All right, folks, we're going to hang with the horses here. This is just peaceful. This is just fantastic. For the Wind River Visitors Council and the Wind River Wild Horse Sanctuary, have a good one, and we hope you visit someday.
Are you looking to learn more about the Wind River Indian Reservation? If so, check out Wind River Indian Reservation, a travel stories audio tour featuring stories told by both the Eastern Shoshone and the Northern Arapaho tribes. Learn about the surrounding landscape, such as the Poposia River, how it got its name, and archaeological sites that dot its shore, the iconic Crowheart Butte, and the majestic Wind River Mountains. It's free, fun, and a great way to get to know the area. Check out this sample about Sacagawea and then download the Travel Stories app.
Here in this remote location on South Fork Road, you will find the final resting place of history's most well-known Native American woman. The Lewis and Clark expedition may not have succeeded without the help of the revered Shoshone woman known as Sacagawea. Sacagawea was captured as a young girl and brought to what is now North Dakota. She was 14 when she was taken along by the Corps of Discovery Expedition for 2 years as a guide and interpreter. During that journey of 3,000 miles, she gave birth to a son, Jean-Baptiste, whose father was a Quebec fur trapper. Her language skills and knowledge of the terrain were valuable and allowed her to return to her homeland and then further on to the Pacific Ocean. Although there are no photographs of Sacagawea, her likeness portrays a strong, courageous Shoshone woman carrying her young child on her back. She is the face of the golden dollar coin issued in the year 2000. According to local history, she lived to be 100 years old and was laid to rest here in 1884 by Reverend John Roberts, who said he knew her well. Others claim that she died much younger of a fever when she was 25 years old. But according to a letter written by Reverend Roberts, people living among the Shoshones on the reservation did not find anything strange by her not disclosing her identity. For many Native Americans, remaining humble about accomplishments is a core value. Others say she may have been quiet about her experiences due to the notoriety she had gained as the guide who aided the whites to explore the land and settle in Indian country. While her life and death remain a controversial topic in history, one cannot argue with the fact that her son, Baptiste, and adopted son, Basil, attest to her character and identity as the woman who guided the whites across the country to the great waters and the setting sun. In the book titled Walk Softly, This is God's Country, Reverend Roberts shared his thoughts on Sacagawea.
I knew Sacagawea well. There's no doubt in my mind that she is the Shoshone woman who guided the Lewis and Clark expedition. Charbonneau's wife was said to have died in Mandan, but he lived with the Indians and probably had more than one wife. I, as well as other white men on the reservation, was reluctant to believe her story until she told of many aspects of that trip what would not have been known to anyone who had not participated in it. If they don't believe the facts as they have been stated, there is no reason to trouble them with more argument. Let the old Indian lady sleep in peace. She has earned her rest.
Thanks for tuning in to Wyoming's Wind River Country, Yellowstone's unique neighbor. Visit us at windriver.org and follow Wyoming's Wind River Country on Facebook and Instagram. This podcast has been brought to you by the Wind River Visitors Council.